Alright guys, this is for YouTube of course, and I'm doing a tier list ranking Deca updates. I think a lot of people assume that Deca's doing a good job because they add a lot of updates to the game, but as you can see by player numbers and like people's reception to updates, it's quite obvious that they're not as good as people think. The updates in general, that is. Quantity does not beat quality. But what I want to do is I want to randomly select these from the right. I'll explain my placings. I think a lot of them will be really surprising. I tried my best to represent the updates by the images, but some of them aren't perfect, so I'll explain. I'm good. Alright, let's start. Random one from the middle, are you ready? But I basically added all of them, or at least all of the relevant ones, so we'll see. Alright, random one from the right, ready? Okay, we have... Oh, Lost Boys... What the hell am I saying, Lost Boys? Lost Halls 2.0. Lost Halls 2.0 is so sick. This might be my favorite update that Deca ever added, to be honest. It's such a coincidence that this started first. So I should explain first how the tiers are going to work. So E is a complete failure tier. D is like one above complete failure. So it has like maybe a redeeming quality, but otherwise it's complete garbage. C is like a very average. It has good and bad points. B, it's slightly better than average, very slightly. A is almost perfect, but there's something pulling back from it being perfect. And S is complete perfection. But with Lost Halls, it's such an awesome dungeon. As you probably already know, it's my favorite dungeon ever. It added so many cool items as well. This is there's also a picture for 1.0. So this just represents the 2.0 version. And as you know, there were a lot of positive updates. Like for example, before the bosses were a bit more tedious, the items were a bit shitter. So oh my god, crypto. But I think the Lost Halls 2.0, I think it's honestly S tier, because what's a bad thing about Lost Halls 2.0? Like it literally is perfection. I don't know anything bad about it. It's so sick. Yeah, voids are so fun. Like I remember Lost Halls, people were doing Lost Halls for like 1 whole year after it was released, 2.0, without getting bored. Probably more than that. I will talk about the HP scaling and how it affected people doing Lost Halls. But yeah, basically the Lost Halls, best dungeon in the game in my opinion, most variety, most interesting items, maybe other than 03, but they have some issues. Most enemy variety, you have 2 paths, that's such a big deal. That's the only dungeon in the game where you can choose paths, except for Oryx Castle now. But this is more interesting path taking, especially because you need one for the other. Back in the day, I remember with 1.0, people used to split it because vials were actually running low. So people used to go on the cult path, and then people used to go on the void path as well. But yeah, next one, are you guys ready? This one is, what's the chance? Okay, I'll do something else. Actually, no, okay. What's the chances? I landed on 1.0. But yeah, Lost Halls, I don't know who was around for Lost Halls 1.0. Oh, thanks for the follow, Levitt. I don't know who was here for Lost Halls 1.0, but Lost Halls 1.0 was very interesting because as soon as it came out, it didn't have public testing. As soon as it came out, so many people were dying, so there were so many issues with it. So it had a lot of problems. The cool thing is, I think was this Deca's first endgame dungeon? It was either Nest or Lost Halls. But yeah, there was a lot of issues with it, leading to a lot of deaths. Void was quite boring. A lot of the Lost Halls were actually failures. Like, people had to Nexus after spending 40 minutes in one dungeon because there wasn't any HP scaling in the game, and people couldn't kill the minions as fast as they spawned because you had to put players behind just to make sure that things didn't spawn. And also the items were quite shit back in the day. Like, Collar Sword was 2 times as thick. Like, the gap was like 2 times as wide of the shots. And the damage was even worse. Oh, Realms closed? Alright, I'll continue this later then. But yeah, the dungeon was actually a lot worse. So I think this was probably a C tier. It still provided for a lot of fun, but it had so many issues that I don't know if people were actually... Oh, should I put it C or B tier? Ooh, maybe B tier actually, because people were still enjoying it. It was an interesting update. Let me explain the tiers as well. E tier is a complete failure of an update, no redeeming qualities, and all bad factors. D has like a 1 or 2 redeeming qualities, otherwise a failure. C has an equal amount redeeming, maybe a bit slightly more non-redeeming qualities. B is slightly better than average with more redeeming than non-redeeming qualities. Then we have A tier, almost perfect, but a bit of non-redeeming qualities to prevent it from going S tier. And then S tier is just perfect. I don't know if there's anything wrong with Lost Tours 2.0, so that's why I've got it at S tier. Especially on release, even on release, I mean. I don't think it had any issues. But let's continue. So I just randomly click in the middle. Here we have... Oh, the HP scaling update. Holy shit. So, this one is a doozy. HP scaling used to be very interesting. First, the HP scale in the game, there was none. So, a lot of the HP scaling, all of the dungeons before just had a flat amount. That was one of the main issues with Lost Tours 1.0. Basically, if you soloed, it was the same amount of HP if you did it with 50 people. So that was horrible. Then they made it an arithmetic scaling. I think that's what it's called. When a set percent was added per person. The problem with that HP scaling was it was way too low per person. So people used to stack dungeons up with people, which necessarily was not a bad thing because this game is an MMO, so there should be a lot of people in each dungeon. So I kind of liked that factor because there was like communities inside each dungeon. It was so much fun chatting to everyone, and Discords were a lot more lively and fun back in the day. Now, since then, for some reason, Deca has changed the scaling to mostly benefit tiny runs. I fucking hate the scaling right now. The scaling is always boring, basically. It's either too boring if you have too many people because the dungeons are so slow. You can't prevent O-Freeze from being overloaded most of the time, and they're so painful. That's why I've got this 26 million screenshot here, because it's so high. And then if you have it at the lower end, I don't know if you guys have seen my elitist runs on stream, but basically, we complete endgame dungeons so fast that the bosses don't shoot, and the minions in the dungeon barely are alive for 1 second, so you can't see them do anything. It is so stupid. And then, if you, for some weird reason, don't want the most efficient clearing of the dungeon, and you choose to have like a 25-30 person run, then that's where you actually have the sweet spot of like gameplay. But why would you go against having the fastest run possible? You know what I mean? There is literally no redeeming qualities for this. And Deca had a better system before this. This is literally E. It is fucking E. There is no redeeming qualities to this compared to before. I don't know why you go against having the game as an MMO. And also, like before, if you chose to do small runs, it was at your own discretion. Before, if you did small runs, it was considered like a challenge, and at least you had that option. Now you have to do small runs, which is so moronic. The problem with the HP scaling at the same time as well is they also released another update where they rebalanced a lot. Like they made Puri weaker, they made Priests weaker. I think having that nerf alone would have fixed the issue of like the steamrolling. But yeah, there was a steamrolling problem before, which this tried to fix and failed miserably. I think that Priest change might have fixed it alone. They also nerfed like melees in that update. But yeah, I actually think the HP scaling is the reason why all new endgame dungeons going forward will be a lot more boring. Like for example, Oryx Free would be a lot more enjoyable if the old HP scaling system was in place. There's so many leeches and they make the O-freeze so painfully slow, especially Basil. Should Deca to make O-freeze, public freeze more common? I don't know. I think they gotta fix the scaling. If I was Deca, for the health of the game, they should revert back to the previous HP scaling, except they should increase the percent per person on top of the base HP. I don't know why they think they have to do some special equation for the HP scaling, to be honest. They should revert everything back to the previous base HP and increase the base HP per person. Because, yeah, it's actually even more of a steamroll now if you do it in small runs than it was before. There should not be an ideal HP scaling. I mean, ideally, you want more people in each run. I should also mention that there's like a conspiracy theory now where people believe that Deca did this kind of update because they want less people to be able to use the same key, so they sell more keys. I don't know how true that is. It's just a conspiracy, but it's interesting. But yeah, so I'm very set on that being an E tier because there are no redeeming qualities to this. Alright, ready for next? That was a lot off my chest. The Vital Combat update. So with the Vital Combat update, that was the update where when you get hit, your pet temporarily doesn't work. And it also gave some value to Vitality. Vital Combat, if you think about it, there's literally no downsides to it. The only bad thing I can think of is some people were whining about their pets becoming weaker after they spent a lot of money. Sucks to suck. S tier. I don't know what's better, the Vital Combat or... I think the Vital Combat came out at the same time as the HP scaling. I think the Vital Combat and the Priest change was enough to fix the insane steamrolling of dungeons. I think this is actually better than the Lost Halls updates. Let me move them around. Lost Halls 2.0. Oh shit, it's going to be a mission to find... Wait, where was this? Oh, wait, that was lucky. That was lucky. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is more valuable than the... Because back in the day, one of the issues with the steamrolling is that people got healed while they were getting damaged. I'm sure if that happened, and people were spamming their abilities while they were getting damaged, I'm sure if this is here, then yeah, it wouldn't be an issue anymore. If that makes sense. Oh no, I have to dodge. That sucks, man. Oh, don't you hate it when you have to dodge? Alright, ready? Next one. Oh, player transparency. I think this is just an easy S tier. Like, there's no arguing with the player transparency. The only issue I have with the player transparency is that it kind of takes away from the fact that it's an MMO. It's kind of good that in the system, they made it the minimum 50%. I think this is a low S. I mean, it should be... Like, this is just an easy S tier. I think it shouldn't go lower because it takes away from the fact that the game's an MMO. It takes away from the fact that the game's an MMO. But, you know, something that people need to know is that this game did not have to be on Exalt to achieve the player transparency. Hacked clients allowed for what's it called, player transparency before Deca did on Flash. So if anyone wants to say the bullshit that Exalt allowed this to happen, no, just no. If anything, this came way too late in Deca's what's it called? This came way too late in the amount of time that Deca has had the game. But I think it's a good thing that the minimum is 50%. I think the minimum should be like 25%. I don't know, I guess it's up to the player's discretion how much they want the game to feel like an MMO. But yeah, I think not being able to see other people at all is just weird to me. That's why I don't have my game at 0%. Yeah, it's amazing that P servers are the leading innovators for Realm updates over Realm, which is so dumb. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that placement. Alright, ready? Next one. Bard. I think Bard was, I think the addition of Bard is really cool. With Bard, it doesn't really have any drawbacks. Interesting thing that Bard brought is the fact that it's a robe and a bow class. This is the first, oh wait, is it the first time? No, it's not. Like, I think Bard is a really interesting concept. I can't think of anything bad with Bard, to be honest. It's weird that I'm putting everything in S tier, but I think Bard is another S tier thing. I don't think they can release... I don't think Deca can release a class that will get much more exciting than Bard, to be honest. I mean, like, the reason why I'm putting in S tier is following the rules of the tier list, which is... S tier is perfection, all positives, no drawbacks. I can't think of any drawbacks with Bard. But you don't understand, like, these are all good updates, but this is such a shit update. The HP scaling. I think Deca would be... the game would be better off getting rid of all of the S tier updates so far here. If they get rid of this. Like, I'm not joking. This is how shit this is. The HP scaling. Bard is just a mediocre class. I think it's quite interesting, to be honest. I think most classes aren't that special, and Bard is, what's it called? And Bard is more interesting than most of them, especially since it uses a robe, and the loots can be quite interesting. The loots are really varied. Like, people can say Warrior's a mediocre class. Dude, Old Lost Halls was not fun to rush. You could only do it on one fucking class. What do you mean? What do you mean, man? Wait, are you talking about 1.0 or Lost Halls when there was non-nerf pets? Bard would be quite good if it wasn't bows. Bows are underpowered. That's not Bard's problem, to be honest. I don't think. Like, I don't think that's something to take into account when thinking about the Bard update. Alright, next one. Dude, Lost Halls 1.0 was so shit. Like, a lot of the enemies just jumped directly on top of you. I'm quite generous putting it B tier. It's gonna be the lowest B tier thing. Because I really wanted to put it in C tier, but I think it's more better for the game than worse. Especially at the time when the game didn't have much. Realm closed already, are you serious? That was so fast, holy fuck. I'll try to squeeze another one in. Holy crap, I'm never gonna get this done. Alright, next one. Summonal. Summoner's another class that's been added, of course, similar to Bard. There's it's overwhelmingly good, but I think Deca did a really poor job at balancing Summoner. Summoner is like a direct upgrade over Sorcerer. Like, the damage of Summoner is so stupid. It's really cool they added a new effect to Summoner, but I think since Summoner brought on more power creeping into the game, it's really dangerous. I need to release a full video in the future about how power creeping in this game has made it a lot worse off. I think this is a mid to low A tier because of power creeping alone. Are we closed yet? I mean, are we gone? Okay, I'll try to fit one more in. One more. Let's see. Next we have... oh, O3 is going to take me too long. O3 is going to take me too long to explain. Let's see if we can find another one. Nah, I'll wait. I want this to be in-depth, alright? I want this to be in-depth. So, I'll continue it later. I'll continue it later. I still think that the appreciation to shit ratio that Deca gets is unfair. Are you saying they get too much appreciation or too much shit? Because I think they get too much appreciation. I don't think Deca saved the game. That's not accurate. I feel like, in my experience, I actually feel like this game was as popular before Deca took control. Actually, maybe not as popular, but it's still so dead. Like, at times when there's no events, Deca has basically made the player base addicted to events. Like, it's kind of like if you give someone a dose of heroin, that, like, the first dose you know, they might be fine without another one, but they really enjoyed the first one, and they're kind of expecting another one. But when there is another dose, they'll take it. The next dose, the next week, what's it called? COVID saved the game. That's actually a valid thing. Basically, the analogy that I was trying to make is that Deca's using events as if they're like a sugar. Let's just say it's sugar. Sugar is a more toss way to put it. You know how when you have sugar, you're more what's it called? You're more reliant and you want more, or caffeine. Deca basically, since like it would have been great if Deca did events as like maybe like a quarter of a year event. But because that would have made them truly special. And when there was an event, everyone would play, you know what I mean? But Deca has made them way too often, so now the player base is so, dependent on events. People won't play without events. A lot of people only play with events, and that's why Deca's spamming them like no tomorrow. I think now Deca also has an amount they have to earn for the game, for the company to be happy, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but in August, Deca got acquired by a bigger company. So they probably have an amount of money they have to earn. Nah, honestly, I wouldn't take the lesser evil in this case, because at least the more evil company didn't add updates that made the game less enjoyable for me. Like, I remember back in the day, getting a D-Blade was more enjoyable than getting a Divinity now. Like, I actually can't play this game for fun. I used to play this game off stream. I can't do that anymore. Alright, are you guys ready for more? Oh, okay, O3 selected. Alright, I think O3 is going to be very interesting. Oryx 3 is very interesting. So, where do I begin? It's really tough because the Oryx Sanctuary has many parts to it. Let me start on the dungeon. The dungeon itself is so awesome. I love the bosses. I think I had one of my most fun times in Realm. My most fun month was when Oryx 3 was released. Most of the bosses are sick. Bases obviously rushed. O3 has some issues. A lot of the issues that come from O3, the dungeon at least, is because of the HP scaling. Because of the HP scaling, if there's too many people, it can be really drawn out, the dungeon. Also, there's some issues with counters, like if there's griefers in there, then it can make the dungeon a bit more boring. Actually, it can make it more fun. Depends how you see it, but the counters were a lot of the counters are an unintentional design. Like, it's meant to punish the players that do it, but instead it punishes other players inside the run. You know what I mean? It would be smarter if Deca made it that the people that counter it, they're the only ones affected by the debuff. You know what I mean? Like, someone suggested this idea. If you shoot the thing while countered, you should like receive the random thing, the random debuff, like sickened or quieted, not the person that doesn't shoot. So that's one part of it. Based on the dungeon design alone, I think that it should be A tier, because a lot of the issues is just because of the HP scaling, but there's some problems inside the dungeon, like Baze's bad design and the counters is an issue. So I think it would be mid A tier, but we haven't got to the items yet, and some other things. So I think the items in Oryx 3 are really, really interesting. I think it was extremely moronic how much of a power creep the O3 items brought on. The Oryx 3 items are one part of the game that made the whole game so much more boring for endgame players. Because now, doing the same things that people used to struggle to do for fun, it's really easy now. Like, for example, doing a Duo Void used to be a really impressive feat. But now O3 items brought on such a power creep. That was one of the things that brought on such a power creep, but O3 items brought on such an increased power level that it made a lot of the game a joke. So I really despise the O3 items. I wish they weren't in the game. But if they were all decreased in power, like what the previous nerf did to them, like we'll discuss the Enforcer nerf and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's really disgusting how much of a power creep this thing is the Oryx free items. I love the designs of them though. Like, I love the design of the O3 items though. Like the divinity is so sick. I love the monocle. I love all of the items are so sick. I don't think there's any issue with the item designs themselves. But yeah, I think the items is a low C tier. I think the items is a low C tier. But what should I put? And there's also the third thing about these is the rune system is so stupid. The rune system is so bad. They did make runes more common in recently, but what's it called? They did make runes more common recently, but when O3 was released, they were so horrible. And just like we just experienced, if one rune holder DCs, the whole run is fucked, and since Deca made a client that's prone to DCing, it fucks it up. I had a lot of fun with this during the first month, but it's, to me, it's either a high C tier or a low B tier. I think this is a... Like, it's crazy to me that I would consider Lost Wars 1.0 a better update to this, but I think because of the O3 items, I think higher C tier. I think higher C tier, yeah, higher C tier, in my opinion. High C tier. Whew, that was a lot. How many is remaining now? Let's see. Alright, next one. Next one, let's see what we got. Let me just put this down here. Oh my god, exaltations. 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 What a lazy update. Holy shit. I like the fact that exaltations were meant to bring an end game to this game. But I really hate that the things that exaltations brings. It's another insane power creep that is so disgusting. Deca could have made some really interesting things with exaltations. Like, for example, if you have seen the skill tree in Beneath the Nexus, they could have done something similar. Like, they could have added, like, points that you could add into a skill tree, made it at least a bit more interesting. They could have also done other interesting things. Like, they could have made it that you got the blueprints from exaltations. Oh yeah, they were also broken. Like, you got extra exalts. Yeah, all of the exaltations were doubled for a long time. And not only do you get plus stats, like plus damage stats, you also get plus % damage after as well. So like plus 5 dex and plus 5 attack, that's roughly a 15% damage increase. Then you get another 10% damage over that. So stupid. The only things I like about this is that they did a % loot boost, which I think is really awesome, and a % XP boost. They also added skins that you can earn, and the gold statues in Vault. Those are cool. But the power creep that Deca keeps adding is so dangerous for the game. You don't understand how boring being so OP makes the game. Just skipping phases on all bosses. I think this is a high D tier. I think this is easily a high D tier. Absolute garbage. Even Oryx's, I can feel the effect of Oryx's changing after this got added. Like, I remember I quit Realm for a while after exaltations were added because they were just so boring. And then people used to run the exalted characters in O3 and it's just, oh god, so gross, so gross. I'm really confident with that being a D tier, a high D tier, because the XP and loot boost is good. Realm, yep. Alright, next one. Hold on, let me see how many remaining. Cool. By the way, the server's Deathmage, US South Free Deathmage. Next one. Oh, Fungal Caven. I don't really remember too much about Fungal Caven release. I remember people were really shit at it and they blamed on bad design. Like, people were getting insta-popped by bats and stuff. I don't know how that was happening unless you were rushing. But yeah, people were complaining so much, but I think the Fungal Caven design is actually really cool. And all of the wides in it are really awesome as well. I think it actually has a really, really, really cool design. It's a bit less interesting than Lost Halls, because Lost Halls has a split path. Was Fungal released separate to Crystal? I'll just pretend they were released together then, because they're so similar. Crystal weighs down Fungal. I don't know, I like the Crystal part more. Oh, actually no, the Crystal box is AIDS. I don't know. I like the Crystal clearing and the Crystal white bags. I think the Crystal white bags are more interesting than the Fungal white bags. Oh, actually it's even. Honestly, I think this is a S tier in front of Bard. So let me put Bard behind. Next one. What do we have next? Nibble Shards! Dude, it was so funny how much Deca was pressing Nibble Shards. Holy shit. Deca was trying to push Nibble Shards so hard. But it's such a garbage set of items. I don't think I need to explain it. I'm putting this E tier. But the HP scaling is a lot worse. Its HP scaling is actually detrimental for the game. Nibble Shards is so funny. Oh god, it's just a meme. It's just a meme. But Deca tried so hard to push them. I think Deca thought they were going to make big money with Nibble Shards. Nibble Shards is like, you would get like, you give everyone around you 10 plus attack for 15 minutes or something. It's just such a, I don't know. I mean, it's good that it's not a power creep, because this would be a lot worse if Deca made them stronger, but they're not that strong. They're not that strong. Nibble Shards is just like a consumable. I'm pretty sure they still drop in event chests. I don't know. It's just, forget about them. Next one. Oh, Blacksmith. Here we go. Here we fucking go. Here we fucking go. I think a lot of people actually love the Blacksmith. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Obvious? It's US South Free Death Mage. US South Free Death Mage. Alright, so let's talk about the Blacksmith. Now, let's think about the good things about Blacksmith. Can someone tell me what a good thing about Blacksmith is? It will include blueprints in it. It's definitely an interesting concept. I think a good thing about the Blacksmith that most people would say... Yeah, most people would say there's less of a grind. You can exchange items that you got more often into ones that you got less. But that's actually why I think it's a really bad thing. Because of Blacksmiths, you guys know that I don't have to play the game for 3 months, and every 5 days, for free, I can make a Divinity, or a Gladguard, or a Horn, or a Escutcheon, every fucking 5 days, without playing the game. I think this update alone made the game a lot less interesting for end game players. There are so many updates that Deca's been adding that degrades the value of getting a white bag drop. Like, there's the Blacksmith, there's the Tinkerer chests. They increase the drop rate of white bags across the board. I forgot other things. Oh, and chest events. Like, Deca just keeps making white bags less special. Honestly, I think this is an update that is just a bit less worse than the HP scaling. Oh, and with the blueprints, like, I don't know how stupid Deca was initially. They made blueprints more common than white bags. Why? They were more common than white bags. It was so dumb initially. And they released them in the least interesting way. Does Cults drop O3 blueprints? No, they don't. I don't know if this could have been implemented in a better way, but, like, I don't know if you guys have seen. I'm just doing random, because I don't know what all of these are. Let's see. Oh, this is the Puri nerf, and also, under the same blanket, the Priest nerf. I forgot what else they changed. I think did they nerf swords then? They nerfed like some abilities. This was at the same time as the HP scaling. Hey Dave Yeet, what's going on? This was an update at the same time. I think the Puri nerf. Yeah, I think the Puri nerf is a what's it called? The Puri nerf and the Priest nerf was a really great change to the game, but I don't know why they did the HP scaling change at the same time, and I don't remember, but I think the Vital Combat change was at the same time. So I don't know why they needed to do all 3 things to combat steamrolling in the game. It definitely didn't fix it. Steamrolling is a lot worse now than it was before, because at least back then people played the game as an MMO. Now people just steamroll in small groups, at least endgame players. I'm not sure about newer players. But I should have mentioned that with the blueprints, they could have made it so much more interesting how they dropped. But they just made them way too common. I think this is a higher A tier, if not a low S tier. I'm going to put this as a higher A tier, mostly just so I save space. Next one. Ready? Now we have... Oh, yes, the item changes, the most recent ones. Like how they changed Lumi, Reikatana, the Shuriken that drops from MT, I forgot. Stuff like that. Across the board, these were good changes, because they basically... Every single change I remember was a good balance change. This is like one of the only updates where Deca had a brain when it comes to balancing. I think literally the only update where Deca had a brain when it comes to balancing. I don't think any of the changes that Deca made were actually that bad. I'm trying to think. They just missed out on some items, but they did so many. They did so many changes. I think overall it was a really good thing, because Reikatana before then and that Shuriken from MT event was garbage. Yeah, I think this is S tier. I think this is S tier. I explained the O3 reasoning before. I can't really explain it again. It's too long, but mostly the reason why I put it so low is mostly due to the power creep on O3 items, and the rune system. But by itself, the O3 design is awesome, except for the fact that, except for counters and Basil and O3 rune being too big. O3 would be a lot more enjoyable if the room was smaller, because there's so many guys leeching. I think they should make it dangerous to leech in O3 somehow, like make it that there's like, I don't know, some sort of issue with being far away from O3, because it's so easy to finish O3 if you never see him, because you can literally finish O3 and only see him during Celestial Phase. Now, I think there's literally no issues. Oh, actually, there is issues with the Gems block fight, in that if he is decoyed, people can leech it again. Yeah, there's issues with the Gems block fight as well. Dharma has always been my favorite O3 boss, even when it was in testing. But Dharma also just automatically passes all the leeches. Like, people talk shit about people passing and stuff, but I think the fact that it does that is really healthy for the game, because leeching is so horrible in Realm. Stretch. Oh. Yeah, it not only is the danger in O3 so much fun, like from the passing, but having that in the game is really important, because otherwise the O3s last 20 minutes alone, and it's mostly due to leeches that complain about the passing. It's so dumb. But yeah, I think this is, I think this should be higher, to be honest, but I'm a bit lazy. Let me try to move this. I think this should be, like, over here. Alright, let me try to fit one more in. Let's see, what do we get? A random one? I think I can fit one more in quickly. Next we have, the dungeon reworks. The dungeon reworks of, Realm. Honestly, I don't know a single dungeon rework that Deca has done badly so far. There's not a single bad one. And they changed the items as well. I think across the board, the dungeon reworks have been really awesome so far. Let me just get over and done with the dungeon reworks. There's literally nothing bad about dungeon reworks so far. They've all been amazing in art style, in items, and in the dungeon. I think this is probably the highest S tier, to be honest. I think that's fair to say, right? Like, the redeeming qualities that people name for Blacksmith is actually the reason why it's dog shit. Like, people say it's good because it makes you not have to farm as much, and it makes it that you get items easier that you might be unlucky with. But that's actually the shit thing. It's a good thing if you don't get items that you can't seem to get, because that means there's items to you that you can strive towards. Now, because of the Blacksmith, it reduces the amount of farming anyone has to do. Yeah, I remember with Crown, it took me over 205,000 shatters to get a Crown, and I'm not complaining. You think I should have gotten a Crown because I got 5 fucking braces? Like, there's going to be a Crown blueprint soon, and people are going to exchange 5 braces into 1 Crown, and that means, yeah, it's just so stupid. Oh, sorry, 2,500, not 2,500k. My bad. I need more coffee. Yeah, literally, all I could do to get every white in the game is farm fungals, and that's actually what I do a lot. I opened my crystal chest in the hopes that I would get a lot of white bags, but I didn't. But I still can make 1 every 5 days for 3 months. Alright guys, let's jump straight back in. Let me select a random one. This one. What is this? Oh, this is library. It represents all of the lower, the easier dungeons Deca added. Like for example, sewers and ancient ruins. I think this is an easy S tier. Like all of the earlier dungeons that Deca added are so awesome to the game, including the items that are in them. Deca did a really good job. Let's choose a random one. Oh, here we go. That was random. All right, this is Deca's. This picture is supposed to represent Deca's update on their bans policy and their recent banning of cheaters and dupers. Cheaters and dupers. Where do I begin? Well, first I'll explain what the updated policy is. I think the sad thing is the only thing Deca's done against cheating and duping is updating their guidelines. And the only people that get banned for cheating and duping are the ones that get reported. The Deca has no detection system for cheating and duping that I know of, that anyone knows of. And yeah, Deca is very stupid when it comes to their bans. I'm gonna make a more detailed video on how they've been false banning lately. But Deca has admitted over 8 times in 1 month that their systems they use for banning is inaccurate. And if it wasn't for Reddit posts, those people wouldn't get unbanned. So it's worth questioning how many people have been banned unfairly and just didn't find the right way to get unbanned. Because people in those Reddit posts have been showing how support just gives copy and paste auto replies. Like for example, to give you some examples of some bans, first they did a ban on Val, a really supporting player, but he just didn't have the evidence to back up that he's a fair player. Like, it's sad, but you need to actually prove that you're innocent. They don't need to prove that you're guilty. Also, the ban after that, they banned someone. In their emails, they said because they had rare items grouped in pairs, in groups of 8 and 16. No, this isn't in combat, out of combat. This is exaltations. And then the latest ban, the most idiotic ban they added, was they banned someone off a screenshot, apparently. So I think Deca should stop banning people outright. Like, it's better that Deca never bans then what's it called? It's better that Deca never places a ban on anyone than do the absolutely idiotic bans they're doing. I don't know where I would put this. I think the HP scaling is still... Oh, I think the Blacksmith and the HP scaling are that bad that it's worse than this. Yeah, like Deca's... Oh my god. These 3 are so shit. Like, Nil Drop's also shit, but it's shit in, like, a non-damaging way. Alright. Next one. Ready? Random? Bam. Oh, here we go! The campaigns! The pay-to-win campaigns! Yeah! I mean, there are some campaigns that, Deca has added that are interesting. But, cute here. Dude, the campaigns Deca's been adding, there's so many more smart ways that they could monetize the game, but I don't know why they have to add pay to win sets. And not only are the sets pay to win, but they make it that you have to spend so much money to guarantee that you get the full sets. The latest ST set costed 830 USD. 830 USD to get. Since this set isn't actually damaging to the game, like ST items, they haven't been historically too power creepy. The only power creep ST set that did exist is the deathless crossbow or whatever. I forgot what it's called exactly, but I think this is an easy E tier for no. It does add interesting items though, actually. I think this should also represent all of the... Maybe I should put this to D tier, actually. Because it technically does monetize the game. And it does bring interesting items in. It's just a shame that it's behind a paywall. They do drop later on, though. Which is something that should be kept in mind. I think this should actually be a low D tier, to be honest. It's not complete bad for the game. But yeah. I don't think this icon shouldn't represent free-to-play campaigns, but might as well. If you account for the fact that they have sets for $830, then even considering the free-to-play campaigns, it should be here. But yeah, they have been adding some really awesome ST items. Though, a lot of the items that they add water down classes. Like, classes should stay unique. It's weird that they add curse to like every class. Like eventually they're just adding curse to every single class. They're adding berserk to every single class. I think they should limit the amount that they spread the class specific things, because assassin would be more valued if it was the only class with poison and it was the only, maybe the second only class with curse and armor break. That's a way that they could have given more value to assassin. Alright, next one. What is this? Oh, the Shatters rework. I mean, I kind of have to guess how it's going to be. But from what I've seen so far, I think it's going to be really interesting. I hope that it's going to be like Lost Halls 2.0, where people were farming it for like at least a year. And it's going to be more fun, potentially, than Oryx Free. Because with Oryx Free, you have to do the bullshit of clearing down the realm, do Stone Guardians, Oryx 1, Oryx 2, and then potentially even have runes DCing from then. So I think, wait, the first switch clearing sucks. I didn't give it too much of a try, to be honest. First boss is too decoy dependent. Yeah, that would be pretty yikes if that's the case. But I think from what I've seen so far, I'm being very, very, very optimistic, but I think it's a low A tier from what I've seen so far. Especially because from what I've seen from the Archmage, it seems to be more challenging than Oryx Free. And it also gets rid of the leeching problem that Oryx Free has right now, because it seems to be a more compact room where the whole room gets filled, and even sometimes it looks more dangerous at the outsides of the room than the insides. So I think it has the potential to be as fun as Lost Halls 2.0, where it was farmed for 2 whole years. Actually, you know what? I should probably drop the reworks. I'm going to probably put Lost Halls 2.0 up here, Vital Combat up here, and Dungeon Reworks down here. Because, the thing about Lost Halls 2.0 was it was so much fun that people were farming only Lost Halls 2.0 for so long. Now, Spencer works full-time now. He does real estate. And this game's shit as well, so I don't know why he would come back. Next we have the Fame rework. Fame rework's pretty damn cool. I think the Fame rework's pretty good. I mean, what the Fame rework used to be, it was complete garbage. So like if you compare it to what it was before, it's amazing. Like, the bonuses are a lot of fun, but there's some really stupid things with the Fame rework. Like, for example, one, you're expected to fully get all of the bonuses, you're expected to complete dungeons that are only sold in the Nexus. But yeah, I think with the Fame bonuses, the Fame bonuses aren't anything fun. It's just a lot better than what they used to be, because they used to be such horse shit. But yeah, the only bad thing about the Fame bonus, actually there's a few bad things. The one thing is that to get all Fame bonuses, you have to buy a key in Nexus, or you have to, yeah, sounds good, Chimeral, you have to either buy a key from Nexus, or you have to wait a whole year for the Valentine's Day event. Because I think Belladonna's Garden is the only thing where you have to... It's a seasonal thing that you can buy from Nexus, but yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard to create content for a crap game. I'm going to put this as a low B tier. And another thing to keep in mind with the fame is that the only reason why someone would get fame if they're smart is for pets. It's really stupid to try to compete on the leaderboard since Deca's banning is so shit. Like, Deca has no control over banning cheaters, to be honest. So, like, competing against cheaters is really tough. Yeah, Santa's Workshop is also so tough. Because you have to pay... was there any way to get Santa's Workshops for free? I mean, leaderboards would have been fun in Realm if Deca could ban people, but yeah. Yeah, this is really important from what Old Fashioned said. If you started playing in late January, you can't get a full fame bonus for at least an entire year, unless you... Oh yeah, with the thing. Next one. Oh, chest events! Chest events! Chest events! Chest events! Yeah, Vars is popping off. I'm really happy for him. I'm really hoping that I can be like Vars and grow out into a different game. But yeah. Yeah, there's no redeeming factor for chest events. If Deca actually used them how they're supposed to be and used chest events sparingly, they would have been a lot of fun. This is kind of like nil drops, like Deca trying to make money out of something in the game. Except this is actually detrimental to the game, because not only does it decrease the value of a white bag, because they're much more common, but it also makes people reliant on events to play the game. I got my only Ogma from a chest, so it's an S tier. The Silex Hammer is for Deca's update on their banning policy and their banning in general. But yeah, I think this is really detrimental. I think this is worse than Blacksmith. This is worse than Blacksmith in my opinion. Chest events. Because, sure, I think Blacksmith does a worse job. Like, Blacksmith is more damaging when it comes to the rarity of whites and how special it feels to get them. But, chest events literally determine what people are doing and how often they play the game. And because of how often they've been recently. And also they created the new meta where people wait in Nexus for key pops. Disgusting. Alright, ready? Next one. We have... Oh, Nest. Nest. The Nest is pretty damn cool. When Nest first released, Nest was one of my favorite dungeons. Dude, Nest when it released was so hard. It was so fun. It was so challenging. The only problem with Nest when it released is that the items weren't the Nest when it was released was not worth it, like doing it. Because it only dropped Stinger and B-Helm. B-Helm was amazing at the time. Stinger was really The issue, and also this came with the Nest event in the Realm, which is pretty cancel. It's a cool event, but it just takes a long time. But now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they actually nerfed Nest to make them a lot easier. But I don't know why Deca's been really dumb with the, like, you know how, okay, for a dungeon to be ran, it needs the items to be worth the danger and the time. No matter how fun a dungeon is, it won't be ran if the items aren't worth it, in my opinion. It might be ran for fun once in a while, like once in a very, very long while, but it won't be run consistently unless the loot is worth it. Instead of making the loot better in the Nest, they mostly just made the dungeon easier, which was so stupid. Like, they really need to have harder dungeons in the game. They should have made, like, for example, tier 14 weapons and tier 15 armors drop from Nest or something like that. It's really gross that they're making all of the dungeons easier. But otherwise, Nest is a pretty cool dungeon. But I think, in my opinion, I think Nest is a high B tier. Because even with the items right now, I wouldn't go out of my way. I mean, I wouldn't farm anything in this game at this stage since you can craft everything except for red bags. But I think Nest is just above Lost Halls. Yeah, Lost Halls 1.0. Alright, next one. What's this? What's this? Oh, not Samurai yet. I want to leave that for an unknown reason. Oh, here we go. Enchantments. Alright, I think... Wait, what am I going to save the free gifted subs for? I'm going to let you guys guess for the free gifted subs. The soundtrack, dungeon grading, and Unity. But not yet, when they come up. Alright, Chimera? But enchantments. So, enchantments are another way to add power creeping to the game. Deca just keeps power creeping, like increasing the power that people have in this fucking game. I don't know how strong people want people to be. Are they gonna just keep adding things until we can one-shot everything? I don't understand. And also, like, if they make them more interesting, it might be fun, but it seems like they're only attack bonuses, whiz bonuses. I have seen that they're gonna add, like, if they do things like Beneath the Nexus has some really cool effects on items. But yeah, I don't really like the idea of enchantments at all. I think they can be interesting. Like, for example, increasing the shot speed of stuff. Maybe if they do the same thing that Beneath the Nexus is doing. Like, for example, Beneath the Nexus has stuff like sometimes you get like a guardian angel. Like, for example, if you take lethal damage, you get a tiny shield. Or you get lifesteal on items. That could be fun. Though I got no idea what they're doing at this stage. And if it's just attack and whiz boosts, it's going to be really boring. I'm going to put this as a low D tier. Probably lower than ST. Especially since whites have such little value now. I don't think anyone's going to care about a 1% boost or a 3% boost. Especially since everything's so strong. Deca needs to find a way to drop the power of everything. And I think HP scaling is the best way they can do that. I think HP scaling, Deca really needs to fix. To make everything more worthwhile. Okay. Maybe even... Actually, you know what? This could be a low C tier. Because it's not damaging like these are. It does have more bad things to it, but I guess there is some interesting potential. Yeah, low C tier. Blanket nerf? What do you mean? I think HP... Dude, the problem is, though, if they fix the HP scaling, they still have the issue of white bags not being as dopamine spiking as they used to be because of things like the chest events and the Blacksmith. They need to, like, stop the Blacksmith and the chest events completely if they want to make this game interesting. They could nerf the attack stat, but I think that they really need to fix the HP scaling, man. Like, they didn't fix steamrolling at all. Steamrolling is potentially worse than it used to be now in just 13-man groups. Closed realm? Awesome. Let me do more. I'm hoping that all of the runes came because I didn't check. Okay, next we have... Oh, fuck, they're not separated. Oh, god damn it. Oh, god damn it, I'm a chimp. Alright, guys, I'm going to, say it straight away. And I'm going to explain it while I'm playing. So, the soundtrack, for me, is the lowest D tier. So, you can gift a Chimera, you can gift the sub to Mr. Oh, wait, Mr. Obvious already has one. Give it to Smug Owner. Give it to Smug Owner. But the reason why I have it as the lowest D tier, I'll explain it in a sec. Soundtrack. So, I think that the soundtrack's actually good. The soundtrack overall is actually really good for the game. The problem with the soundtrack, though, is that I think it was only made by 2 people, and Deca treated them so shittily. Deca treated them so badly. Like, I don't know how many people noticed, but Deca, the 2 people that made the soundtrack worked for no pay. Deca did offer them money, but the amount was so laughable that they didn't ask for them to get paid. Instead, they asked for 2 requests. The composers asked that Deca would credit them by putting their name on the statue in Nexus, And and the composers also asked Deca if they can add dynamic music changing in the game. One, they didn't add the credit after 1.5 years of them being composers, making music for free. That was the easier one of the two. Then the second one, the dynamic music changing, Deca didn't add that to the game, though admittedly is a bit tougher, and Deca said they had bigger priorities, though I don't know why free composers are so low on Deca's priority list. They have like ST campaigns and chest events higher for some reason. But yeah, they treated them so poorly. And you know what? Beneath the Nexus, one of the first things that Beneath the Nexus added was dynamic music changing. How hard could it be if Beneath the Nexus did it with a much smaller staff? How hard could dynamic music changing be if Beneath the Nexus added it with a much smaller staff, sorry. So there's actually a video on it. I'm going to put it in the description of the YouTube video. I can link it in stream as well, but I'm hoping someone else can link it if people can see. It's about the composer's personal experience with Deca. But yeah, if Deca treated the composers well, then I would have put the soundtrack at A tier. I would have put the soundtrack at A tier, but due to how poorly that Deca actually treated them, easy low D tier, easy. Didn't even have to think about it. But the only reason why it's not an E tier is it is a pretty decent soundtrack, especially some tracks. Hey ZJ, what's going on? You'll be back tomorrow? Awesome. Awesome. I can't wait to see you back. So yeah, that's in D tier. Alright, next we have dungeon grading. Is this another one that yeah, this is another one that I did for, what's it called? Yeah, the dungeon modifiers and dungeon grading, whatever. With dungeon grading, I think it can be very interesting, but I have to pretend that the white bag value. Oh, thank you so much, Carmira, you're the best. And yeah, I'm just gonna tell you that I'm putting it low B tier. This is speculative, by the way, because no one knows how good it's actually gonna be yet. So Fatty Whale God, lucky you. You can gift Fatty Whale God Chimera, thank you so much. But yeah, I'm putting this B tier because it can be really interesting. I think it can be really fun, but just changing the damage and HP of enemies isn't that interesting. Like, I know they were discussing about making like water into lava and stuff like that. That could be really fun, but just changing the numbers in the dungeon are really, really garbage, especially like, for example, increasing loot percentage when whites are such a joke in this game because of the blacksmith and chest events. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Actually, maybe it should be lower than B. No, I think low B tier is good because it also adds a variety to already existing dungeons. So yeah, low B tier for that one. Alright, next one. Fast. Dungeon modifiers. But yeah, this is really speculative, by the way. Same as Shadow's rework and same as the enchantments. I can only guess how some things will be. Alright, I'm gonna quickly do some more. What's next? Alright, it's not Samurai for now. Alright, Tinkerer. Tinkerer has been a lot of fun because it's a way that people can, like, it's just another addition, like another layer to farming. Like, now you can what's it called, farm for the chests. But chests are quite low value. Like, it takes a long time to find a chest, and the value of chests are quite shit. Third room already? Are you serious? Alright, I'll tab back in soon. But oh, I can just explain while I'm running. But yeah, I think Tinkerers would be a lot more fun if people didn't dupe the chests so easy. Hey LT, what's going on? But yeah, right now there's a massive problem with chests getting duped, and it's really sad for me because I spent so much money. Like, they added a thing kind of recently in the grand scheme of the Tinkerer. They added a feature where you can re-roll the quests after completing them. twice per day, and I was doing that twice per day for a long time. It was quite expensive. It's like 5k realm gold per month. I stopped because of the recent controversy. Because yeah, I don't want to really spend money on the game anymore. But overall, I think Tinker is a lot of fun, and it adds a new layer to events. I think those kind of events are good, because most of the events that occur in the Tinkerer, they're like one-time redeems. Like for example, with the Oryx shards, how you can like redeem the Oryx agent abilities and stuff like that. I think it's pretty fun. There's not many bad things. There's not any bad things with the Tinkerer. Just like it's not really worth doing most of the time outside of events. So I think it's a high B tier, to be honest. Let me put this. Oh, I'll move everything later. Oh, actually, it's probably a low B tier, actually. Because it's so, like, no one really cares that it exists in the game. It's just not a bad thing. It doesn't get attention because it's so low value. It's just not a bad thing. Low B tier. Let's see, what's the next one? The next one is... Oh, Unity. The next one is the Unity update. This one was for a sub. Give it a guess, guys. What do you guys think I think of the Unity update? S, we got some S's, we got some B's, we got some C's, B's. This update is about the Unity update. So give it a guess. What tier do you think I'm gonna put the Unity update in? And if you guess it right, you get a gifted sub. Alright, well, I'm gonna do a gifted sub for another one because no one actually got it. I think Unity is a D tier, lower than Exaltations. Or actually, a D tier, not as bad as... I think it's the highest D tier out of these. Hold on, can I really quickly... Oh, fuck. Exalt... ST... Shit. Soundtrack, am I even going to make it? Soundtrack. Okay, I'll explain the reasoning. So think about the good things about... think about the good things. Think about the good things... Wait, thanks for the follow. Think about the good things. No, I didn't make it. I don't really care, to be honest, because I want to just get finished with this. Fuck. Whoops. 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 My bad. I didn't think I had that little time. What the hell? I think it's because it was a small run. My bad. Alright, think about the good things about the Unity client. Think about the good things. That I actually can't think of many good things. I think the performance is better for the computers that can handle it. But there's so many bad things about the Unity client. Like, for example, a lot of people can't actually... Oh, wait, no, a good thing about the Unity client is it saved it from Flash, because it couldn't stay on Flash. But you know, a lot of people can't actually run Realm on the computer anymore. A lot of people can't run Unity on their computer anymore, because for some reason, this isn't about the fact that it's transferred over to Unity, it's how Deca did it. Deca made the client so unoptimized, even though they ran a campaign, and it seems like they raised a lot of money from the campaign. In the year that they did the campaign, they got 650,000 euros. I think I've got the balance sheet here. In the year that they ran the campaign, they earned 650,000 euros. So I don't understand how the Unity client is so shit. Yeah, this number. 2 million tabs gang. So I don't understand how it's so bad. It's not that my computer's bad. It's so unoptimized. Like, everyone complains about DCs. Deca promised that it would tackle cheating and duping. What's the copy paste? Does anyone have access to the copy paste? Let me try to find it. Damn it, I can't find it. Oh yes, we believe the Unity client has far better security against cheating than Flash does. A lot of the cheating methods you see today exist because Flash was much more vulnerable to being picked apart and exploited. We are quite confident many of these cheating methods should die of Flash. So that was what they said about Unity client. And as you can see, it did not work well. And a lot of the things, like Deca said that a lot of the Unity would allow them to make more interesting updates. But a lot of the updates they have since brought on since Unity aren't anything special at all. Like, the cool things that it has allowed Deca to do is add, like, the different bullet speed changing. Like, you know how in HTT, a lot of the enemies shooting start off slow and then it, like, gets faster, accelerates? Very small, tiny things that we could have lived without. Flash actually ran better. I swear, honestly, Flash, if I could play on Flash today, I would. If I could play on Flash today, I would. I mean, Deca didn't even discontinue Unity. Like, people can still cheat on Flash. And people still do cheat on Flash. But, Oryx lag? I mean, Oryx lag wasn't a bad thing. You were invulnerable the whole time. Yeah, I think it does depend on the PC, but also the amount of people that you played with. If you did, like, 80-man Lost Halls, then yeah. But since Deca changed the HP scaling, with the current HP scaling of the game, I actually think that, with the current HP scaling, I actually think that, what's it called? I actually think that Flash wouldn't have been too bad with lag, the frame lag. See ya, Jimbo. Alright, next one. Next one. We have... Okay, now I'll do this one. So this is all the mid-tier, mid-difficulty dungeons that Deca added. They added, like, Parasite, Mountain Temple, HTT, Third Dimension. They're all really sick, to be honest. All really sick dungeons. They're just mid-tier, so people don't run them too often for the loot and stuff. I honestly think this is an A tier. Like, all of the dungeons that Deca has been adding have been basically without downsides. I mean, sorry, S tier. I think it's S tier. S tier, my bad. Mountain Temple used to be a lot shitter. Like, it used to be a lot longer, but that was its only issue. Otherwise, most of them are really cool. I think the beginner dungeons are cooler, like Ancient Ruins and Mountain Temple library. But yeah, just got a white bag off a Sprite World, nice. But where should I put this? But they're still less interesting. Like, a lot of them are slower. It's a bit tedious to run these dungeons, especially since people steamroll the endgame dungeons, but you can't find Discord steamrolling these dungeons. I think I might just put it here. But yeah, as you can see, I'm not biased. Like, I'm not hating Deca. The most updates are actually in the S tier. So if you think I'm hating on Deca, then I don't think I'd be doing this, having so many in S tier. But mid-diff dungeons. Alright, next. Next we have the ST shard items. The shard items are pretty cool so far. For these, I did the abilities, the rings, the armors, and the weapons. Who won the previous one? Fatty Whale God won that one. Fatty Whale God. With these items, they're really awesome. I think Deca finally did a good job with adding these. Like, they're not power creepy at all. None of these actually power creep the game, and all of them add interesting effects. I think this is another, like, there's no real downsides. It's a bit, actually, there is one downside. They haven't added them as drops to the game yet. It's just a way for them to push chest events even more. I think gating them behind chest events is pretty disgusting. But otherwise, they're all really cool items in general. I think it's a low A tier. It's only a bad thing. I like para for the dungeon itself. Yeah, I like para for the dungeon itself. It's really cool. And the barrel mechanic is really cool. That's like one of the things that you'd think that they could only add in Unity, but they did in the Flash. The Parasite. Alright, next one. Let's put this down here. What's this? Okay. Next one, Samurai. Samurai. I'm going to be honest, I don't like Samurai that much, but objectively, it doesn't really have any issues. It doesn't really have any issues. The reason why I was waiting to rate this one is because I think this one is another ST one, but just a low S tier. I think Bard is more interesting of a class than Samurai is. It's really annoying that this gets cut off at the wall, and it has a range. Oh, thank you so much, Chimera, for the thing. But yeah, Samurai doesn't really have any drawbacks other than you can't really shoot through a wall. Actually, given that fact, maybe I should make Summoner less. You know what? I'm gonna put I think I should actually put Summoner in B tier because of the power creeping from it. Maybe no. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, that's tough. I'm trying to think. Hey Biffin, what's going on? How are you? But the idea behind the Blacksmith decision is because the Blacksmith, what it does, it decreases the value of whites. I don't know if everyone noticed, but a lot of the endgame players quit the game. And one of the main reasons why they did that is because the dopamine spikes that people get from getting white bags are like lost. Because of chest events, Blacksmith, some other things, it just doesn't feel good to get a white bag drop anymore. I couldn't give a fuck if I get a divinity. I can just make one every 5 days. And because of the whites that I've stockpiled, every 5 days, I can make an O3 item without playing the game. I can just log in. I can just log in and I can log in every day, and I can make almost any white in the game every 5 days. Pretty stupid. Also, what's it called? Blueprints were so poorly added to the game. I think this is really good for newer players, but only because it makes everything so easy. I don't think you can play this game for over 1,000 hours and still get excited over white bags, unfortunately. Really sad. But yeah, I think people get really pissed that they have like one white bag that they just can't obtain. I think that shouldn't be treated as such a bad thing. Everyone should have that experience where they had such a trouble finding a white bag, and then they finally get it. Yeah, Blueprints made it so much shitter. I think what's it called? Everyone should have that experience where they had so much issue getting a white bag and they finally found it. Imagine not having that. Imagine just being able to get any white bag you want because you get the blueprints. A problem with that is that Deca actually made blueprints so common in this damn game. They made them so common. I don't know why they did it, but yeah, it's so easy to acquire. Yeah. Because, yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, there's so many factors that make whites less valuable than they were 4 years ago. Because back in the day, 5 years ago, I actually used to get so happy when I used to get a Demon Blade, the White from Abyss of Demons. Now, I don't even get happy when I get the sword from O3, the rarest sword in the game. And what people say the most strongest. Oh, I don't know if you guys watched my stream a year ago, I used to farm for collar swords at least every second stream. At least every second stream I used to farm for collar swords, and whenever I got one, I fucking popped off. You can go through my old videos, and I used to get so happy when I get a collar sword. Now I can just make one every 5 days without playing the game. Now I can just make a collar sword every 5 days without playing the game. It's so sad. I mean, I don't know what Deca can do. I'm hoping that like Deca can... something that Deca could do to save Realm is make like a classic version, like you know how WoW had WoW Classic before they ruined it. Deca could make like a Realm Classic where they add like all of the good updates, like for example all of the S tiers and the A tiers, maybe even the B tiers. I mean, if Deca makes a good product, it will bring them money. Deca should stop trying to use easy cash grabs like nil drops, chest events, and STs, and instead trying to make a good product. Thank you, Smoganu, for the follow. Cheers. But yeah, last one. This one's not interesting at all, since Godlands has been ruined, basically. Now there's a chest event meta, where people just wait in the realm. I'm sorry, in the in the Nexus for dungeon pops. But if people used to play Godlands as much as they used to, they would appreciate this update because it makes Godlands a lot more interesting. It's just a shame that no one needs to do that anymore because it's so much faster to run dungeons inside of the Nexus. I would put this as the lowest S tier, to be honest, but it's still an S tier. There's no drawbacks, it's just not interesting at all. It's a good update, but it's just not interesting. Like, there's nothing to it, especially since Godlands died. But yeah, that's it. That is it. The what's it called? The hammer is about Deca's update on their ban policy and the bans as of late. But yeah, that's it. We did it. We did it. That's it. Wait, how do you... Cool. Yeah, imagine actually having to go to Godlands anymore. Can you believe it? But yeah, I think Deca could make Realm an amazing game. Imagine if they, like, they don't have to wipe the whole game, like do a soft restart. I mean, the problem is they have to fix cheating and duping before they were to make a Realm Classic. But if they were to make a Realm Classic, they could, like, for example, I think pets, maybe they can nerf pets a bit more. Having pets in some form would be cool. They could nerf pets significantly more, and they can keep all of the updates in in S, A, and B, and maybe some of Oryx free. Like if they tone down the items from Oryx free, then there would be A tier or a high B tier. But yeah, the power creeping from O free items killed the game a lot, in my opinion. But yeah, if they are gonna make a Realm Classic, I feel like not having pets would be the number one thing. I mean, with how difficult some parts of the game is, you can have pets. Like with the Vital Combat. Instead of getting rid of pets, they can increase the Vital Combat in the game, I think. But yeah, they can't really get rid of Unity, but they can polish the client. Exhortations are a failure, they can get rid of that. ST campaigns, STs. I mean, STs are cool, but they're gated behind money most of the time. They do drop sometimes, though. Soundtrack's good, but it's a shame how they treated the composers. And yeah, they need to get rid of all of these. They need to get rid of all of the lower one things. I'll be right back in a momento. Oh, wait, something else that I should add. One more thing that's really important. How can I add the security update? I don't want to advertise their thing in my thing, but this is about Deca's security update. You know, all Deca did for the security update is make it that you can't have multiple Unities open at the same time. And also, the other thing they did is you can't have the game open for more than 12 hours. Apparently, that's the only two things they did with the security update. And when people figured it out, that's when they brought this back, all this spamming. That's all they did. Hey, how's it going? By the way, I should also mention that I believe that the Blacksmith and the HP scaling are game-killing updates. Streamer gone? No! I think they're game-killing updates. They're that bad. I don't think any of these are as good as this is bad, if that makes sense. Like, the same value. Same as the chest events. I think the amount that the chest events are being used, I think that's game-killing as well. All these three are game-killing, and the degree that these are bad don't equal... like, nothing is as good as this is bad, if that makes sense.